Okay, what if I told you that one of the most intense two-player strategy games I've ever played fits in this tiny box and sets up in minutes? Let's talk about For the Emperor. All right, well, I'm really excited to talk to you about For the Emperor by Allplay. And first off, shout out to Allplay for providing us a review copy. We appreciate the support, and we look forward to giving our honest review on the game. Now, what is For the Emperor? It is a very tight two-player dueling game where you take the role of ancient clans in battle, and you're waging war across 7 different battlefields where you are laying down cards on your side, trying to get the highest sum, because at the end of the game, whoever has the highest, or rather the most amount of the 7 battlefields wins the game. It sets up very quick. I'm going to jump into a quick tutorial and then we'll talk about our thoughts. Okay, so here we have the game set up. There are 7 battlefields here, and we are going to be deploying the warriors to the different battlefields. Each warrior adds strength based on the number on the card, and they often have a unique ability that will help you win the game. You win a battlefield by having more total strength there than the other player. Whoever controls the most battlefields by the end of the game wins. So to get started, you're going to draw 3 cards off the top, and these are what the cards look like. So you can see there's a number there, and then they have the ability right here. And there's this handy dandy little reference card with all of the abilities on it that you can look at. So again, we're just going to take turns placing cards one at a time on different battlefields. But where it gets interesting is when we start to get into the higher card counts, and I'm just going to set this up as a quick example. You've got these flags here. So you've got 4, 3, 2, and 1 numbers on the flags. The second there is a battlefield with 4 cards on it, then you are going to, actually let me set out a few more here. Boom, boom. There we go. There we go. Okay. Every time you play a card, you are going to look through all of the battlefields, and if any of them have the highest number flag, then you're going to place that flag. So in this case, the 4 would go there. Then you immediately look to the next number. Are there any 3s? There are. So we would place those down, and so on until you can't place any more flags. So there's another 3 here. The cool thing about that is it really can force some really strategic gameplay there. There's going to be a few cards that make use of these tokens here. This one just adds a number to the card, and this one gives you the value of the flag, whatever that is, on your side. And we both have the same 4 chips. So again, you take turns and the game ends once all of the flags have been played and locked in. And again, I think I mentioned this, but once that flag locks in the card count, you can no longer play cards there. So it's a very interesting and unique mechanic. And once you have played all of your cards but one, so we go there, that would lock in the 3, and then we do everything else. That's a 2, that's a 2, and now that's a 1. And we just keep going here. Then they would go, let's see, they go there. Okay, now all the battlefields are locked. We each have 1 card left, though. This is important because this last card, if there are any ties for a battlefield control, this is going to be the tiebreaker number. So you want to end with probably a higher number, if possible, so that you can break any ties in your favor. But yeah, then you go through and you just see who won the battlefield. So that goes to black, this would come to the white, this comes to the white, 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 and black, and black. White team got 4 of the 7, so the white team wins. And that is how you play the game. Aubrey and I are always looking for a good two-player game for date night. And bonus points if it sets up quick, plays quick, and delivers very intense gameplay in a short amount of time. I'm happy to report that For the Emperor delivers on all fronts. So let's talk about the size of the box. I feel like a broken record these days with all these awesome tiny box and small box all play games, but come on. I mean, look at this. This is probably one of the biggest selling points. It is a great game, first off, and I'll talk a little bit more about the gameplay, but I gotta just talk about the size because there are lots of really great two-player games, and Aubrey and I love packing up two-player games to play on the fly. The problem is not all of them set up quickly, not all of them play quickly, and none of them are in a box this size. So that is a huge selling point right out of the gate for any couples or friends that you just want a very deep strategic experience, two-player experience. It doesn't get any smaller than this box. So that is the first huge selling point out of the gate, is the size of the box. And the game plays so fast. It can get really intense near the end because the stakes are so high. But oh my gosh, it just sets up quick and then you're just playing right away. It's kind of got that, I love the really intense Reiner Knizia feel, especially for two-player games. Lost Cities is one of our favorites that we like playing. And you get that really tense decision-making right out of the gate with this. So I love that. And we love how much there is going on, again, without overcomplicating things. So with each card having its own ability, that gives just enough flavor and variety to your strategy and your decision making, but it doesn't feel overwhelming either. So it just feels like it's really well designed. There's the one card that we got hung up on a few times and had to refer to the rule book, which is, I think, number 2. Which is the placement of the flags, which again, that's the only part of the game that takes a minute to kind of wrap your mind around, is, staking out the flags that lock in the card count for that battlefield. So, but once you play 2, maybe 3 times, it really clicks, it makes sense. So yeah, let's talk about that flag mechanic, because I love that mechanic. It's unique. I hadn't seen anything like that in a card game before. And I love that it's just one more way to apply pressure to your opponent. And especially when it gets down to the wire near those last few turns, you're trying to strategically lock in the card count, forcing the other person to make moves. And it also gets really intense near the end, those last few turns, because now you're card counting, right? Everyone's got the same 9 cards, and once enough of them are played and they only have, there's no draw pile, now you can start card counting. So that, I love the crescendo near the end of the game. It just really feels like a big finale. And they somehow captured that battlefield vibe that they're going for with the theme, which I love. The game feels really balanced too. Nothing felt broken, nothing felt overpowered. Again, the card abilities are great because the higher the card value, kind of the abilities of those cards kind of mellow out, and the lower card values have some of the more interesting card abilities. So everything felt really well play tested, really well balanced. There's awesome emotional tension, and again, each turn feels so weighty, right? And then the quality of the materials is great. Again, no complaints there. The artwork is fun. It's this kind of traditional Japanese artwork that makes sense, fits with the game. Again, nothing too flashy here, but I think it serves the game very well. Okay, so did anything not land with us? Honestly, we like this game a lot. It is a pretty crowded 2-player board game world, especially the last couple of years. All the dual variants of games coming out. There's lots more 2-player games. And so you really got to ask yourself, okay, if you're going into the 2-player game market, how are you setting yourself aside? How are you making yourself different, better, special? And I think there are definitely some unique things about this game that do make it shine. The flag locking mechanic, the abilities, but most of all, it's going to be the size, right? Because this is so compact. You can throw this in your pocket and literally go get it around before you're your food comes at a restaurant. There's just, so that factor alone is what really gets us excited about recommending this game to other couples or other gamers that want a very deeply strategic, quick experience in a small form factor. Are there other two-player games that we might prefer over this? Probably. But here's the thing. They're almost all bigger, bulkier, take longer to set up, and don't play as fast. So I think it depends on the situation you're in when you're pulling this out versus a Lord of the Rings Duel or, Lost Cities or any of Reiner Knizia's. But there's definitely a place for this game. Okay, so who's it for? If you are a fan of any two-player strategic dueling games, this has got to be in your library. If you are a gaming couple or you have a good friend that you like to play two-player games with, this is perfect for those instances. For date night, this is awesome. But also, if you are a strategic gamer, but you don't want to commit to a 90-minute crunch fest with a Euro, then this is also a great option. So there's a lot of people that I think this game will appeal to. Okay, so what's our score for the Emperor? Sleeved! We love this game. It is definitely going to be in our collection. We will definitely be grabbing this on the go for getting in our quick gaming sessions while we're out and about. And I could see us pulling this out for a long time to come. Again, it's not for everybody. It's maybe not the best two-player dueling game, but given its form factor, its price point, and just the solid experience you're getting here, we absolutely recommend For the Emperor without hesitation. Thanks again to AllPlay for sponsoring the video. And as always, if you enjoyed this take, like, subscribe, and follow for more content. And until next time, have fun gaming.